Jimmy Spoon and the Pony Express by Kristina Gregory, Chapter 30, The Blessing. Jimmy and Nahani wandered along a creek where fragrant white flowers of the syringa bloomed. In the shady woods, there were violets, blue and yellow, and ferns. As they talked, Jimmy was aware of the aroma of balsam and pine and the pleasant twittering of birds. Never had he known a more beautiful day or a happier moment. But he did know this: he loved Nahani with all his heart. When they stopped by a small waterfall, he found himself gently pulling her to him. He breathed in the wonderful scent of her hair and skin. They glanced at each other, then laughed at their shyness. Jimmy wanted to kiss her, but he wasn't sure how to go about it. "Nahani," he said, holding her hands in his. He gazed at her lovely face and felt lost for words. I want to marry you, Nahani." She looked into his eyes. "I will be your woman, Dawi." Jimmy let out a huge sigh of relief, then threw his head back in laughter. No longer shy, he swept her into a hug. With one hand under her head and an arm around her waist, he kissed her. Nahani was going to be his wife. Wild with joy, he kissed her again. Later that afternoon, Jimmy found Penn by the river with Mozo, who was showing him how to string a bow. There was something about Jimmy's manner that made them both stop and look at him. "Big Fish Girl lied, didn't she?" asked Penn. Jimmy laughed. "Yes." He picked up a small flat stone and threw it low so it skipped several times across the water. He picked up another stone. This one rolled between his fingers, thinking. "Nahani and I will marry before it snows," he said. "Penn, I won't be returning to Salt Lake, at least not for a while." Jimmy translated for his elder. A light breeze moved the ends of Mozo's gray hair, which hung loose down his back. He grinned. "You will be warmer than most of us, Dawi. This is good that you have come back to us." "Yes, Mozo, I am glad to be home," in English, Jimmy said. "Penn, if you don't mind wintering here, I will ride back with you in the spring. Then my family will be able to meet my wife. What we'll do then, I'm not sure." Penn's eyes widened, and he gave Jimmy's shoulders a hearty shake. "Count me in. I wouldn't miss that for anything." Before dawn the next morning, families began to gather in a clearing by the river, forming a semicircle. The air was cold. Some mothers had babies and cradle boards. Others left their smaller children sleeping in the lodges. The blessing ceremony began the moment the first rays of sunlight split through the trees. Washaki and Mozo stood near the fire where the fragrance of cedar and sweet sage rose with the smoke. They held fans made of eagle feathers, which they waved through the incense. A slow drumbeat marked time. Jimmy and Nahani walked with the others past the fire, praying silently, then sipping from a gourd of river water. Penn followed with his new friends Nampa and Gamu. Mozu raised his arms to the sky and began to sing. "Beopa, grant the leaping fish a safe return. Beopa, grant us peace." Jimmy looked at Nahani. Sunlight lay on her cheek. Her eyes were closed with reverence. How good she was, how he loved her. As the hour passed, Jimmy began to feel a deep peace. Mozo was right. There was always something to be thankful for. He thought about his family in Salt Lake, about his friends Will and Nick Cone, Mr. Tagg and Milo, little Inga Bumby. "Beopa, take care of them," Jimmy sang. "Beopa, help me be a good husband." He took Nahani's hand, then raised his face to the sun. And that is the end of Chapter 30.